collective with that same mindset, and we were down there to try to alleviate the stresses and the troubles. We weren't looking there for any trouble, and it was important that we were all of the same mindset, and that's why we went down there, to sort of oversee, protect the younger protesters, some of them who can be volatile, and try to just make sure they didn't do anything that they were going to regret like 5 minutes later.
In the States, of course, we hear so many terrible stories about young black men and them being actually endangered by the police who are armed. Is it the same flavour here, or are young black men much safer from our police?
You know what? I mean, you can never compare the two. You're talking about a place that is armed to the teeth versus a place that isn't. But, we don't get off lightly here either. I mean, there are huge, grave injustices within the criminal justice system here, which includes the police. If you look at the Stephen Lawrence case, for example, when Stephen was murdered, the evidence was there to convict straight away, but it only happened 20 years later. Why was that? Because there was corruption within the force. So, we're just talking about things like that. We're talking about Dalian Atkinson, who recently he was killed, a few years ago. So, we don't get off scot-free here when it comes to, law enforcement and their behaviour. But, in America, somehow they seem to disarm and de-escalate situations that concern white individuals far more easily than that situations that include black people. It seems to be like a shoot first and ask questions later policy they have when it concerns us.
And what are you up to now a year later? How has your life changed since that photo?
I'm doing. We've set up a community interest company that's looking to do some real, make some tangible changes. The tangible changes I've been talking about within the criminal justice system, within education, within the mental health industry, and we're working closely with organisations already doing great work in these areas, but they're not getting the notoriety or the funding they deserve. So now that we have a platform, we're going to try and help them. The company is called, and it's UKAI, the abbreviation. I've also written a book, for those that didn't know, called Everyone versus Racism, A Letter to My Children, which was published last year. The paperback came out on the 29th of April this year. And that, tells a harrowing story about what it's like to be a young black boy, young black man growing up in this country, and talks about what we can do as a, collective to make